Last night, I got to see Beetlejuice Beetlejuice, and the big question is, how does it compare to the original Beetlejuice? Oh God, I just said his name 3 times. Welcome to Movie World Plus, the place where we talk movies. I'm Andy Signor, and yes, I am here to review Beetlejuice 2, otherwise known as Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. And look, it's hard to talk about this movie without also talking about the original Beetlejuice. And I gotta say, look, Beetlejuice has never been like one of my favorites, but I've really come to love it over the years due to the practical effects. The creative visionary of Tim Burton, his ideas in this film are stunning, they're striking, and they were something we hadn't seen before. Even the plot of the film is really fun. If you remember, Beetlejuice isn't really even in the movie that much until the second half. The movie centers around Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis, and even that plot and the family that moves in, it's fun. The whole premise, the whole idea, the effects, the style, it just felt like something new. And Beetlejuice as a character was this wild card that you really didn't know what was going to happen. He's crazy. He's vulgar. He's kind of evil. He'll have some fun, though, at the same time. And there was just something really appealing about that character. I think it's why there's been this longevity to it. So I was very curious to see how they were going to do all that in the sequel. Would it just become the Memba Berries, greatest hits, but not done as well? Would it be a greatest hits where you're like, oh my God, I love seeing it again? And would it just be a lot of CGI and, more Alice in Wonderland, Charlie and Chocolate Factory, Tim Burton versus the original? That's what I was curious going into. And I got to say, overall, my feelings are mixed. They're mixed. There are times where this movie soars, and there's other times where I feel like it trips over itself. And that's my honest feedback on this. I do think this movie is going to be a hit. I would overall recommend it. I did have fun. I laughed. It was fun to see these characters together again, ultimately. But the film definitely has its problems. And I think certain audience members are just going to not care, and they're going to have so much fun. And I hope you do. I really do hope you do. But I would say lower the expectations a bit, and hopefully you'll have more fun then. But overall for me, the film doesn't work as well as I hoped it would. And not from a lack of trying. It really does sort of attempt to do the right things. There's a lot of really cool practical sets. It does still feel like the real, physical stuff that is there, the world that you're seeing. At the same time, it's a lot of the same stuff we've seen and darker. And ultimately, like, not a lot of new creative stuff. There's nothing new and creative in this that I'm like, whoa. Whereas in the first Beetlejuice, the whole thing's creative and new, right? And I was hoping to see some new stuff in this film that would be like, oh man, I'm glad Tim Burton got to go back and add this and add that. Instead, it's, more shrunken head guys and another snake and more of the waiting in line. And it's just like, okay, I'm glad. I'm not mad that stuff was there, but the new elements just don't go anywhere near the old elements. And that's ultimately what was a letdown for me. Instead, yes, we are focused more on the human characters. And I wasn't mad at that. It starts okay. We are here, and I'm going to get a little bit more into the plot in the second half, and I'll warn you before I go there in case you want zero spoilers. But the film, if you've watched the trailer, you sort of get the vibe. Lydia's now grown up, has a daughter, Astrid. They're estranged. Delia, Catherine Hara, also, and Lydia also clearly have had their issues, but better. Justin Theroux is Lydia's new boyfriend. And that's the premise. And those are the sort of human characters that you're going to be focused on in here. And Astrid, Jenna Ortega is Winona Ryder's daughter. They don't get along. There's a lot of struggle, and you're going to hear that backstory. And just ultimately, while I was rooting for it, it could have been more emotional. It ultimately didn't hit the mark for me. There's a lot about death and second chances and being there and all this stuff that is fine. It's okay. It's not like it's bad. It just, I've seen it done better. And so what's frustrating is we get a lot of that attempting to get these plot arcs with these characters that I understand we needed to have them there. We want to go there, but ultimately takes away from when we could be in the Afterworld with Michael Keaton, because there's a subplot going on there played by Monica Bellucci's character of Dolores that they show you in the trailers that is out to look for Beetlejuice. That's your premise. So we got both versions happening. We got Willem Dafoe as sort of the new cop from the Afterworld trying to figure out the case. And so you got that world, and then you got the human characters fighting and both sort of stories converge due to some plot points. And that's what Beetlejuice ultimately is. And yeah, it just was a little bit of a letdown. I gotta be honest. And that was my frustration. There are parts where Michael Keaton's character still really does work. There are parts that set up stuff that was fun and I wish had worked even more. But ultimately, it's just a little bit of the same, not and done not as well. And you really got to want to just revisit these characters and sort of shut the brain off and not overthink of it in order to really enjoy yourself. And I do think a lot of people are going to do that. But for me, my critical brain clicked on at certain points and I couldn't get over it at times. That said, I did laugh at times. I did have some fun at times. It's beautiful to look at. It's really fun to see Michael Keaton back. He's not as edgy as I hoped he would. The original, like I said, has this sort of danger to him that in this film doesn't feel as scary and scary is the wrong word, but just like you don't know what he's going to do. And he's clearly left an impact on these characters. And I was hoping for more and I never really got it. In fact, I want to delve a little bit more into that from a plot perspective. Excuse me, for the last couple minutes. So if you don't want me to talk spoilers, understood. I would still overall recommend this movie. I will ultimately give it a thumbs up. I will because I think this is fun to see. It's nice seeing Tim Burton play in the world. I wish he would have had the opportunity to do some new things. I do. And I wish they could have let Michael Keaton really just go a little crazier. And I wish Lydia's character would have been stronger. Those are my three main criticisms. But overall, look, it works. I will say Jenna Ortega, she needs to start doing some new original stuff. And I think she has it in her, but this is just like Wednesday and some of the stuff I've seen her do before. Pouty Kid. She's done this role, and I hope this is sort of the last paycheck one she's done and stop stereotyping herself as playing this young goth kid and starts doing new things, which I really do think she's going to do. I think Jenna Ortega is talented. But yeah, this is clearly like we've seen you do this, and I'm sure she knows it. It's time to sort of do other things. But let me get into the overall plot parts a little bit. If you don't want that spoiled, tune out. Make sure you subscribe. Thank you for being here. Let me give you a couple plot points. I'm not going to spoil the movie, mind you, but I want to talk a little bit about the plot points. And some people get annoyed if I get too plot heavy in my reviews. All right, so back to the movie. Look, the plot in the third act is a little bit frustrating for me. The third act of this film, and the trailer teases this, so I don't think I'm spoiling too much. The third act sort of implies we're going in there and almost implies a Lydia Beetlejuice team up. And for those of you who are fans of the cartoon, oh my God, yeah, let's do this. Let's actually figure it out. And they don't really ever get to go there. It's frustrating. They don't. And I was sort of hoping for a little bit more of an exciting vibe and let's do something. Like if we're going to make Beetlejuice likable in a way, like they do in the cartoon and take away the edge, then let's at least have fun doing that. And to me, it was just a muddled, is he empathetic and learning? Is he scary? That I ask you to watch it. I need to watch it again. Maybe I missed stuff, but this third act of the movie is ultimately a letdown. They play another song and it's just not as good in my opinion. And it's long and it just, everything at the end was building up to something and it ultimately didn't deliver for me. And that left a really bad taste in my mouth, sadly. And, I wanted certain things, but I didn't get it. That coupled with the fact that there really wasn't a lot of new original stuff that I thought was sticking, that Tim Burton was trying to take shots. There's the shrunken head Beetlejuice guy, which is cute. It's cute. It's like when they brought back the mini Stay Puft marshmallows in the new Ghostbusters. I didn't hate it. It was cute. It was like, all right, I see what you did there. Merchandising, that's fun. You can have one of those. But Willem Dafoe's like character and Monica Bellucci's new character and stuff, none of it really stuck for me. Nothing new was like, oh man, that's a cool new thing I'm going to remember. Sadly, at the end of the day, this Beetlejuice is way better, in my opinion, way better. There's an energy, there's a darkness, there's a creativity to it that still works. I will say this movie didn't wreck that. It didn't like tarnish the franchise or the original in any way. It's just a, expensive cover version and, takes a few new steps that ultimately I don't think really were necessary. That was my ultimate review. And my friend was asking me at the end, I'm like, it just felt unnecessary, but I'm not offended by it. Whereas some sequels I'm offended by. And this one I wasn't offended by. Ultimately, like I said, I would recommend it because I had fun and I would watch it again. I would try it again just to see maybe I'm being a little harsh. But overall, I think I'm just telling you all this because don't get your hopes up. Lower the expectations. Hopefully, then you'll have more fun than I did. And I support it. Would I like a third? I think they got to let Beetlejuice really, they got to let him go and they got to let him shine. If they're going to do this again, it's got to be the Beetlejuice movie. And honestly, Beetlejuice would be the reason to do that. So if this movie's a monster hit and Tim Burton really needs the money, I could see them. And I hope at that point they just take the restraints off and stop worrying about pleasing the fans and make their own thing and let Beetlejuice go do something different. Let's try it. I was hoping for a little bit more in that movie. And if you're looking for that movie, that's not the movie you're going to see. This is a retread, a lot of stuff you've seen before, and some new shots at creativity that ultimately I don't think are going to stick with you. So, and Lydia, I got to say it again, Lydia's character is disappointing. It's a disappointing arc. I mean, they give her an arc, but it was just like, where's Lydia? Where's Lydia? Where's that Lydia? I wanted that Lydia in part 2. You're not going to get that Lydia in part 2. So mixed bag for me. Ultimately, I would recommend it. I would support it. Go check it out. But yeah, I've said all I can say. What do you think? Are you still excited for it, or did you see it yet? When you do, come back. Let me know in the comments. What did you think? Was I too harsh? I want to hear your feedback. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit that bell for all alerts, smash that thumbs up as well, and leave your comments down below. I'm curious what you think. And I also want to know, do you want to see a third? If you saw this and when you saw it, come back. Let me know in the comments. Should there be a Beetlejuice? Thanks so much for watching. We got so many more movie reviews coming, more movie content when I can. So subscribe, stay tuned, and thanks for watching Movie World Plus.